Young or old, healthy or not, it's wise to prepare for the unexpected, says Kathleen Summers.
Usually we see, unfortunately, families in crises. We now have facing some kind of either an illness or aging process concern, and we don't have anything in place, and what can we do?
Summers is talking about the importance of making legal preparations before the end of life. A former nurse, Summers is also an attorney. She helms Generations Law Group here in Sudbury.
Things start to ramp up for them in terms of care issues that we want to make sure get addressed early.
Summers focuses on crisis and estate planning, Medicaid and long-term care planning, and guardianship. Her advice to everyone, try to have the conversation with loved ones sooner rather than later.
We don't talk about death and dying in our society because that's frightening for us. But one thing I've learned in my practice is having these conversations really gives peace of mind to all involved.
To do that, Summers recommends a checklist.
A will certainly is a critical document from a legal perspective to talk about what you would like to have happen to your worldly goods and who you want to manage your estate after your death. A trust also can be a very beneficial way of being able to express those wishes. But estate planning is much more than just what happens after we die. It also is how do we continue to live the life that we want to live if we are somehow in a position where we can't advocate for ourselves. And so that's where we're looking at documents like a durable power of attorney that names someone to step into your shoes to make financial decisions for you.
Also important, particularly for the aging and infirm, a medical power of attorney, or, specific to Massachusetts, a healthcare proxy.
A healthcare proxy is a document in which you name someone to step into your shoes to make healthcare decisions if we're incompetent or incapacitated for any reason.
A living will outlines detailed wishes for end-of-life care.
And then the last document is typically the HIPAA authorization and release document. And this allows you to name people that you want to be part of the important conversation regarding healthcare decisions.
It's also imperative to involve your doctor in the conversations, Summers says.
Because if your physician doesn't have any idea who your healthcare decision makers are or the people you want part of the conversation, they're not going to be able to share that information as freely as you might like.
The worst case scenario, not planning at all.
I'm often appointed by the court to be a guardian for someone. I'm having to start with absolutely no background except what's been presented to the courts. That really can become much more complicated.
Summers and her team also counsel clients on how to begin difficult conversations about death and dying. She says families often wish they had started talking earlier.
To the person who is aging or dying, this is something that allows them to express what's important to them and how they want their legacy to move forward. To the people who are left behind, it leaves them with the ability to make sure that those things are fulfilled.
The legal necessities aside, when confronted with a life-threatening illness, one option for care can offer reassurance. Here at Mass General Hospital, Dr. Vicki Jackson is Chief of Palliative Care and Geriatric Medicine.
So palliative care is a medical subspecialty. Our job is to help people with serious illness live as well as they can for as long as they can. And what that means is we're focusing on quality of life, helping treat symptoms that might make it difficult for patients to live their life the way they want to. We also help with medical decision making and really helping support not only the patient but the family as well.
Palliative care is different from hospice, explains Dr. Jackson.
So palliative care is provided at the same time patients are getting curative or life-prolonging treatment, where hospice is really the gold standard of medical care for patients at the very end of life, typically in the last 6 months of life. One of the things that is really important about palliative care is it's an interdisciplinary team. So there are physicians on the team like myself, there are nurses, social workers, chaplains. We have a whole team because we know that a patient and family need all of us.
Early palliative care can be effective, according to Mass General's published research.
We've done early work that actually demonstrated that patients who see palliative care from the time of diagnosis have an improved quality of life. They have lower rates of depression. They have better mental health.
That's some relief for patients going through one of life's biggest challenges.
I am just humbled and amazed by the courage and love and connection that I see in my patients and families. When I'm caring for patients, I see them, they never thought that time might be as short as what it is.
Generations Law Group represents clients in Massachusetts, so of course you need to check with the legal expert in the state in which you reside when making plans. Up next, carving out last wishes.